What's going on, guys? Bruce Matson here, your host of the show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football, and I got something new here for the 2022 season. We are going to be dropping rankings on the weekly here for all the position groups. That way you guys are good for your matchups every week, and I'm here to help you out, and we're going to start things off right now at the running back position. We're going to be doing a top 40. Let me know if this is working out for you. If you want 40 or you need 50 or 60, or maybe I can scale it down even for you, just let me know. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're going to be doing this on a weekly basis and you don't want to miss out. Right or wrong, I'm going to consistently bring these out for you, and there's not many people doing this on the internets, so let's go. But first, I want to go over this real quick. This is huge for my process for DFS lineups, and I also use this process when it comes to breaking tiebreakers with players that I'm having trouble with. And I look at the over-unders and I look at the spreads. And this lets me know potentially what the game script might look like, and it is an influence on how I view these players from a week-to-week basis. There's other things I look at. I really want to look at players with a lot of touches. I want to look at a player who's getting a lot of workload, but the matchup has to be right. One thing you want to know here, you want to chase those players with good matchups. Over-unders are good to look at for this because it gives you an implied point total for the game. So the higher, the better. I suggest you screenshot this right now. You have this on your phone. I got this from OddsShark. It's an average from a bunch of different books. And this is from like yesterday when I was putting this together. So these lines have changed. They will change throughout the week. But we're not concentrating directly on the lines. We are concentrating on the implied point total, but not the total itself, but whether or not this game is projected to be a shootout, a high volume game, or a low volume game with low scoring, low output. We want to differentiate between those games. That way, when we have a head scratcher with our lineup, two guys we don't know what to play, this could be our tiebreaker. This helps me out a lot when it comes to setting lineups. This is something I like to do, and I'm going to share this with you on a weekly basis. This alone is worth the subscription to the site because I will do this dirty work for you every week, and this will be on all the ranking videos, so you have it. Screenshot this right now because it will do wonders for you. Some matchups I'm looking at, obviously, the ones with the 50s. 50 over under or higher. We got the Dallas game with Tampa Bay, the Vegas Chargers game, Buffalo, Raiders, Kansas City, Arizona. You want players from those games. You want stacks from those games in DFS. If you want a sneaky game to stack with for tournaments in DFS, I suggest you look at Philadelphia at Detroit. We have a 48.5 implied point total. This game script could break. It could not. But for tournaments, you could get some contrarian options out of this because people are going to be chasing the other games there with the top implied point totals. And people might be looking down on Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff. You might have something here with some sneaky plays. Games you want to stay away from, I'm staying away from. Definitely the Niners-Bears game. I will have players in lineups from that, but it's usually the top players getting the top target shares, top workload, but I'm not really going hard at it. Browns-Carolina. Very weary of it, but guys like Christian McCaffrey, you got to start no matter what. It doesn't matter. It could be the worst point total, best point total. Start your studs. Don't let this make you fearful from starting your studs. Even if the over-under is at 40, you got a stud running back, Derrick Henry or something like that. One of those top-tier guys. Derrick Henry's in a 43.5 implied point total game. Start them. Start your studs. Let it roll with them because those guys are getting workload, and it doesn't matter if it's a low-volume game. Ancillary wide receivers, high-volume games, you can chase those guys for your flex. We'll talk about that in the wide receiver rankings video and some other videos that will be dropping this week. Let's dig into the rankings here. We're going to start things off with 1 through 10. And here we go. First player I got here is my number 1 guy, Jonathan Taylor. We got an over-under of 45.5. That's cool, but Vegas is predicting the Colts to win big. We got a spread of 8. Colts are favored by 8 here in this game. That means they should be running the ball heavy late in the game. Taylor's explosive. Get some run in the passing game. Number 1 player for me off my board. And everybody on the top 10 here, you're starting. Most of the people from 11 to 20, you're starting. These guys, when it comes to projected points, they're not far off from each other. They're from like the 22 range to like 19, and they're all mixed in. And that's from looking at other sites with projected point range for these players, PPR, standard, you name it. And I'm basing this off of PPR rankings. If you're doing standard, just dial it back on some of the guys who are pure pass catchers a little bit. Derrick Henry, I feel like this is a good contest for him. I feel like he's going to get a lot of touches here, which he should. He will get a lot of touches. Should be able to roll on the Giants a bit. Vegas has the Titans favored to win by 5.5 points, which means they should be leading late in the game. I like Derrick Henry. The offense is going to be fueled through him. He's going to get a ton of touches. Austin Eckler, shootout game. Big game. Should be number 2 on the rankings. 3, 2. Doesn't really matter. Like projected point total rise. They're like this far away from each other. 3 and 2 is pretty much the same thing. 1, 2, 3, same thing. 4, 5. Pretty much close with each other when it comes to these rankings. You're starting all these players. Austin Eckler's a lock with no fear. No fear with Austin Eckler. If I wanted to, I'd move him up to 2, not feel bad about it. 1 even. No fear in this contest. Tight game script, it looks like, from the spread. High over-under. High scoring game. And we should be starting him with confidence. Christian McCaffrey at 4. Some sites have him as 1 for the week. Some other places have him at like 2 or 3. I feel like he's going to get enough touches to hit that upside. I feel like he has a good chance to give you a good floor in this game. Even though the over-under is kind of low, the spread's kind of tight. The offense is going to use him a lot. They're going to ride him till he's done. Christian McCaffrey is going to be good for you still, but I have him lower than 1 or 2 because of this low game script. There is a chance that it could affect him, but I don't think it really will, and 4 is not bad at all. You're still starting him. Don't worry about him. Joe Mixon, I'm a little higher on him compared to a lot of people. I have him at 5 for this week. I think he's going to get a lot of work in the passing game. I think he's going to get some red zone looks, and I think he's going to get touches. I think this is going to be a good year for him considering the Bengals' high volume approach in the offense. I can see them being a little bit faster paced on offense as well. Dalvin Cook, I love the matchup. I love the over-under. Same thing with Aaron Jones. They're going against each other. They should be getting a lot of looks. They should be getting a lot of opportunities. I feel safe with both those guys. James Conner, I'm pretty high on. I'm very high on James Conner because of this matchup. 53.5 over-under. And they got Arizona trailing, though. But I don't think it matters when you got so many points coming off the board. He's going to get some goal line looks. If he crosses the goal line once, twice, you already got a RB1 for the week. And the probability of that is increased. He doesn't have much competition for touches out of the backfield. DeAndre Swift, last year against the Eagles, 5 targets, 5 catches. Going to be using the passing game. Over-under, sneaky high. Spread semi-tight. Detroit's going to be trailing. He should be getting some garbage time targets or some catch-up targets or whatever you want to call it. I think Detroit's going to be a tiny bit better this year. I think they're going to compete a little bit more in games. I think he's got that upside. And I like Alvin Kamara in a similar fashion. I think he's going to be getting a lot of targets. I think he's going to be getting a lot of looks. I think him and DeAndre Swift could be interchanged. The over-under, I can see that being broken. I can see that being higher than that. If you want to bet on an over-under, if it's still like 42.5 or so, if it hasn't went up, you may want to bet the over on that. I can see these two teams going a little bit higher. Atlanta is skeptical with pushing the ball downfield with new quarterback, with that quarterback ambiguity. But I think the Saints is going to get it done here. I think Kamara could be locked in as an RB1, especially in PPR. Let's move into the next 10. And this is where things get a little strange. I got Lenny Fournette at 11. That's that Dallas game. I think Tampa Bay might roll on Dallas a little bit. I think it's going to be a high scoring one. Vegas has it as a high scoring game. Last time they played it was high scoring, so I could see that happening. I think Lenny Fournette's going to get goal line looks and catch some balls out of the backfield. I feel like he's got a potential to be an RB1. Najee Harris is at 12. I don't hate him in this game either. They're going to have to use him. They're going to have to get him touches. I am questioning the quarterback play, though. I'm questioning the offense. I want to see what this offense looks like live against defenses, live against the Bengals. See how this looks, because this is a new look team. Should be an upgrade compared to Old Ben, but might not. Let's see what Mitch Trubisky can do for the Steelers. He does have some weapons, but Najee Harris could break things for us. Ezekiel Elliott is high for me, and a lot higher than what people were drafting him at, and it's just the matchup. We got Tampa Bay over under. You know what? He led the league last year in routes in the flats. Led the league among all running backs with routes in the flat. And if he's getting looks in the flat in this game, which he might get a lot of looks in the flat. We're down Amari Cooper, who's going to pick up the load and the targets. Many people think Dalton Schultz. Many people think CeeDee Lamb, maybe one of the ancillary wide receivers, but it could be going to the running backs. Him and Pollard, and Zeke's going to be on the field. You know he's going to be on the field. They know they're going to pound him till he's dead. So Ezekiel Elliott, you're going to have him up in the ranks just due to volume, and then the matchups grand for him. So week 1 looking good. Saquon Barkley, ranked 14th this week. I think over long haul of the season, I'm ranked a lot higher. Low volume game, but the Giants will be trailing, so maybe you can get some targets in the passing game, some catch-up targets to allow him to get us our fantasy points. Not looking for Giants to put up a lot of points on the scoreboard, and not seeing many red zone opportunities for him. Nick Chubb, kind of low on him this week. Wouldn't be surprised if he busts some big gains on us, because he is one of the best pure running backs in the league. I think there are going to be some better game scripts for him, but I think this Carolina-Cleveland game is going to be real slow. I can see why the over-under is at 41.5. Carolina's got Mayfield. Cleveland's got Brissett. And it's going to be a filling out process for both these teams. Cleveland is going to rely on the run. They have to. They're not going to air it out with Brissett. That's not going to happen. But Chubb getting a lot of work could equate to fantasy points. But also, this could be a slow game. They could be killing clock a lot, just knocking it out. So this could kill a lot of opportunity for him. So Nick Chubb, even though he's so good, there's a chance that just this matchup might kill it. But there is upside for him. Javonte Williams. This is going to be a funny matchup. I could see Denver just killing Seattle. This is a Russell Wilson revenge game. We love revenge games. Russell Wilson could look here to skin or defeather the Seahawks. They are up big on the spread, which means they could be running it out. I should have Javonte Williams, now that I'm reading this, ranked higher, but also there's some ambiguity here because Melvin Gordon's there. Melvin Gordon could siphon some workload. I've seen some people from Broncos Twitter, some beat writers saying that this could be closer to a 50-50 split than what people were thinking, like last year. So let's see what's going on here. That's why he's kind of ranked conservative, but I could see this game script opening up for him. A.J. Dillon, he's sharing that backfield, but if you need a person for your flex, a player for your flex, that could pop off. That could be the guy for you. In a good matchup, gets opportunity, gets goal line looks. He could cross that goal line and pop off for you a bit. Also has the potential to get that long gain, a couple long runs, maybe a touchdown, and you have a guy flirting with RB1 territory, and this matchup could fuel that for him. Travis Etienne, low volume game. This guy's got the potential to break off on us. I just want to see it happen. Dameon Pierce, I got him ranked at 19. For some of you guys, it could be a little low. However, Houston going to be playing from behind. Vegas is saying that, and they're saying it pretty loud. I can see it happening. I can see Jonathan Taylor just going off on this team. Michael Pittman going off on this team. This team playing from behind could affect Pierce's output. Maybe get some catches out of the backfield. But you got some decent receivers in Houston. You got Brandon Cooks. You got Nico Collins. Probably going to air it out. I'll be pushing on those wide receivers more than Pierce. Pierce also has some upside due to him getting touches. Tony Gibson at 20 at Jacksonville. I don't really love it, but someone's going to have to run the rock for the Commanders. But let's see what happens with him. At 20, it's more like an upside play because he catches the ball at backfield and he has the juice to break off some long runs. Moving on to 21 to 30, Josh Jacobs. Many people might have him ranked a little higher here. 52 over under, high volume game script. And I look for him to do some good things in this game because why not? He's going to get touches. There's going to be a lot of volume here. It's going to be an explosive game. Josh Jacobs is a good play. If you need a guy for your flex, if he's your RB2, it could be worse. Don't worry about him too much. Cam Akers. A lot of people are worried about him due to the Achilles. I'm very conservative here with my rankings, but I also like him. I like the over-under here, but what if he is getting a fair amount of carries? What if he is getting targets? What if he is getting usage and he blows up here? This is a speculative play. We could get less than what we're expecting, but we also could get Cam Akers to the moon. He could be that player that comes out of nowhere for us this season. At 22, I got him ranked as an RB2. I got him ranked as a high-end flex play. I think that's fine due to the matchup and the potential he's got. There's also a chance he hits a low floor. Good speculative play for this week. Rashad Penny. I saw people ranking him kind of high. I want to see with the touch distribution here. I think any other week, he may be a little higher, but I don't think this game script's going to work out for him. Chase Edmonds is in a better game script, but this game could be slow. We've seen New England just sit on the clock in games before, slow things down. This could be a slower game than expected. This could hit the under. I am very weary of this. I also want to see what this Miami team looks like before I anoint some of these players. And if I'm going to buy any of these Dolphins, it's going to be the wide receivers, and I may pay down for Tua. David Montgomery, completely out for him. One of the starting running backs that I'm not in on for this week. Pretty much Bears and Niners, I'm out. I'm out, especially for the running backs here. There's just not enough volume. Someone's got to score touchdowns in this game. It's not going to be 0-0. So David Montgomery could cross the goal line. I just don't see enough volume, especially with them using other running backs. This team's not married to him anymore, so they could rely on some other facets in the offense. Tony Pollard, I got him ranked kind of high. I looked at other people's rankings. He's a little bit lower. However, the over-under's at 50. The spread's tight. This game's going to be in Dallas's favor to score fantasy points. They could be using Pollard more in the passing game, especially out of the flat. He's got some juice. I wouldn't be surprised in PPR if he sneaks up on us a little bit. This is a speculative upside play. When I say that, there is a ton of floor that he could miss on us. He could give us a goose egg, but he could also blow up on us. So I'm taking the gamble here. Ramondre Stevenson is a player that can do a lot of things for us. He could do a lot of bad, he can do a lot of good, and really it's the New England offense, but the potential's there. He could be sneaky good. I really want to see the touch distribution here, but he can be a starter for you, especially those who went 0 RB or went a little lighter at RB in their drafts, and he's their RB1 or RB2. You're going to start him if you got him, unless you're very stacked at wide receiver. Cordell Patterson could be a sneaky play here with this Atlanta Saints game, just because he was sneaky last year and be sneaky before in a good situation, but I just want to see how he looks this season. Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a great situation, and I could see him getting more touches than expected. A lot of people are expecting him to get usurped by Isaiah Pacheco, but we got to see what happens there. Good spread here, good over-under. This matchup screams upside for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. However, the downside is there big time. So this is a very conservative ranking. I think some people might have him ranked a little higher than this. Next is Elijah Mitchell. Again, Bears, Niners. Not having it. I'm just not having it And we don't know what's up with that hamstring. We don't know what they're going to do with the other running backs, what this touch distribution is going to look like. Very conservative. I'm out for this game, but not for this season. Moving on, 31-41. Dameon Harris just not feeling him as much as Ramondre Stevenson this week, but it could be either or, so I had to go with him a little higher. You never know which New England running back you're going to get for the week. Devin Singletary, looking at other rankings, I have him a little bit higher. Good game script. Good chances here. If you're looking for a guy that could bang in your flex and you're not strong at receiver, you're kind of heavy at running back, you may want to think about Singletary. You also want to think about Darrell Henderson for the same reasons. What if they don't use Cam Akers? Henderson could be that late round dart throw that hits for you. We got a good game script here for week 1. If you want to gamble on that, gamble. Michael Carter on the Jets. They may not be leaning on the rookie. They might be checking it down the Carter some. I am not in love with them. I'm not in love with any of the Jets running backs right now. I want to see what Breece Hall's doing, but I could see Michael Carter getting touches early on. I think this is not a very sexy game. Same thing with J.D. McKissick. Catches balls out of the backfield. You're only starting him unless you're hurting at running back. You went 0 RB, and this is your RB2 because you waited so long. There is a chance, since Brian Robinson is out, that he gets more workload than expected. Miles Sanders, a lot of questions with him. A lot of things not going good with him from this offseason. I really want to see him do more before I recommend him, but I could see him making me look bad as well, getting touches. He is explosive, but again, not the best game script for him, and I could see them leaning more on A.J. Brown and the receivers. Kareem Hunt, same thing. This is a bad game script for him, especially for him being the second running back or the 1B, whatever you want to say. But I like Nick Chubb a lot more than him. He does catch passes out of the backfield, but I don't see this game getting out of hand where that can push that volume. Next is Nyheim Hines, and honestly, if you're starting him in week 1, you did something wrong at running back. Jamal Williams at Detroit could be a sneaky play. I like him better than Nyheim Hines. Just bump him up a bit. I like him better than Nyheim Hines. I like Melvin Gordon better than Nyheim Hines. I like Melvin Gordon better than Miles Sanders really for this week. And Jamal Williams. I like Jamal Williams just because when healthy, he can be that goal line banger, and he's in a decent game script. Very sneaky play for DFS. I like Melvin Gordon more than what I have him ranked. I'm changing that on the fly. Just throw him up around 34-ish. Same thing with Jamal Williams. Just throw him up around that way. I like the game scripts. Melvin Gordon's in that Russell Wilson revenge game. This could be a killing. This could be a shellacking. We have a 42 over under, and that's because they're not expecting Seattle to score many points, and the spread's at 6.5. This is going to be a killing. This is going to be a killing. Start your Broncos. Start your Broncos running backs if you have to, and close your eyes because one of them is going to hit. It could be Melvin Gordon. If you win 0 RB and you have him and he's your RB2, I have him as RB2 on some of my 0 RB teams. You might be starting him. You might be starting him up. If you want to risk him on the flex, say if you're starting 3 or 4 flex plays, a lot of leagues are different. You might be wanting to put him in. Kenyon Drake with Baltimore. This is a close your eyes and see what happens because we don't know what's up with J.K. Dobbins. We don't know what's up with the knee. J.K. Dobbins, I did not read off his name. If he's healthy, good to go. If he's there, move him up the ranks pretty high. He could surprise us. Also, over-under here is low. So I don't expect this game to be heavy in the run, heavy at all. So I expect this to be a very low-scoring game. I don't expect many high-end fantasy producers. If I'm buying anybody for the Ravens, Mark Andrews, of course Lamar Jackson, and Rashad Bateman. Those would be my 3. If you want to throw in a Hail Mary in DFS tournaments, is very likely. Dirt cheap probably, and you're just throwing in that contrarian Hail Mary. But I would not do that for regular redraft. Regular redraft, he's probably on waivers. Just watch him throughout the year. But that's it. That's my top 40. I gave you 41. I try to give you an extra on a lot of these videos just to give you a little extra. That's just how I do things here. That's how I do things on the channel. But that's it for my top 40 running back rankings. Technically top 41. Let me know who you're starting this week at running back. Or you got any running backs in your flex? Drop that in the comments. If you got any questions, I'll try to drop it in the chat. Start your studs. Don't worry about your top running backs. You draft them for a reason. It's week 1. It's a filling out process, so we don't really know other than last year's stats, and we use that stuff in the draft. Now we're looking at the matchups. We're looking at what's going forward. You're probably going to disagree with some of the rankings, and that's cool. You're not supposed to be with me 100%, and if you are, don't do that. Think for yourself a little bit, and if you hate something, let me know. I got the thickest skin on the internet. But I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Wide receiver ranks are coming out soon.